Exodus 6:9b, Velo shama'u el Moshe, mi kotzer ruach, ume avodah kasha. Now in this context, Moses has explained at some length what the Lord will do to show who he is as their covenantal God. And Moses spoke thus to Israel. But they would not listen to Moses. We continue, from or on account of the shortness of ruach, breath, and from or on account of harsh slavery. Now, last time we looked at the first part of this verse. Moses spoke thus, who the Lord was, and that Israel, they would not listen to Moses. And now the narrator explains two reasons why they wouldn't listen. Because of shortness of breath and because of cruel or harsh slavery. I want to take a moment and focus on this phrase here, which is probably idiomatic. And most modern committee translations take this as they were either impatient, so shortness of spirit in that sense, or they were discouraged, so shortness of spirit in that sense. That is, both of those idioms take ruach as spirit. But I want to think about this just a little bit more in the context of Exodus. In Exodus chapter 23, verse 12, there's part of the Sabbath command in order that they might rest. That is the domestic animals. And this is what I want to focus on, this verb here, vayi nafeh, and that the children of the slaves born in your household and the residing foreigner, that they might catch their breath. So you'll notice that the noun form, nephesh, the noun form means soul or throat. And it's really a metonymy of sorts, because if we refer to the throat then is an organ of appetite or hunger, or the throat is an appetite of breathing. And so it's really probably in that second sense that it's used here. Vayi nafeh. Let's go ahead and parse this word. We can see all three letters showing again. Nun, Pei, Shin. And we can see from the front that this is an imperfect with a conjunctive vav on the front. Then we notice that in the nun there is a dagesh. This is a sign for us that we're looking at the nifal. And so the theme letter, the nun, assimilates into the first root letter. 3ms. Sorry, I should have said that. There's a subject pronoun. So the nifal could be passive. That is, and so he might passively get his breath, I guess, but probably the reflexive works best here. He might catch his breath, which is usually taken after the King James Great Translation. He will refresh himself. Now, coming back to the point at hand, this shortness of ruach could be taken ruach as spirit, thus shortness of spirit in the sense of discouragement or impatience. But since we're talking about the slavery of Israel, notice then that household slaves need to rest on Sabbath so that they can refresh themselves, namely catch their breath. And so it's possible that this idiomatic phrase at the end of Exodus 6:9 is really because of shortness of breath. That is, maybe Israel didn't believe Moses because of their cruel slavery and because they were even just trying to catch their breath.